Lexi, and welcome back to the first official episode of the 20 Effect. Today, I have a very special guest for this first episode, BK.
Hello. What's up? My name is BK Obi, GCU volleyball alumni. I'm 23 years old, and let's get into it.
Yeah, so BK and I met through GCU. I kind of moved to Arizona and was looking for some friends, and we were just introduced. And I remember I reached out, asked to grab coffee, and we sat at that coffee shop for like 4 hours.
It was long.
It was long. They had to kick us out.
No, for real. Like literally, they kicked us out, and it was just in a blink of an eye. Like I thought it was still, oh yeah, we got time. We're the last people.
It was
there.
late, and then we like talked for 30 extra minutes in the parking lot
on a weekday.
Yes,
on a weekday.
We both had work the next day, but.
Right.
Yeah, no, I feel like we just have like a lot in common and a lot of life that we talked about. And honestly, he was kind of the first person that I talked to about this podcast and was kind of the person that was like, yeah, go for it, do it. And
100%.
Now we're here. So
100%. I'm super, super proud of like just seeing this and seeing how far it's come and where it's going to.
Yeah.
Like the picture in mind for the destination is what you make it. And this has literally, although it's the beginning, it's come so far already.
Yeah, thank
and so
you.
Just for like literally you seeing it and you making it happen to us being here right now.
Yeah,
I'm super proud of you.
It's
like,
crazy.
That's
Thank
big.
you.
That's so big. And like legit, we haven't caught up in a. It's been a while since we caught up. And so just seeing that how we've both been locked in and seeing where this is going.
Yeah.
Like kudos.
Yeah.
100%.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And like, thank you for coming on. I just felt like it was necessary to have you come on and kind of talk about what we talked about at that coffee shop of life in your 20s. And especially you had recently graduated, I think. And I was about a year out of graduating from college. And like that time period is so hard. And so a lot of that was just like the inspiration behind wanting to start this. So I appreciate it and
no problem.
Thank you. But
no problem.
Yeah, do you kind of want to tell people like where you're from, how you kind of grew up, how you maybe like ended up at GCU, all that?
Yeah, so I'm from Dallas, Texas. That's why I got the Dallas hat on. But yeah, I'm from Dallas and born and raised there. Arizona was, I kid you not, it was never on my map.
Really?
Like GCU, I thought GCU was a online school because it has its online presence is so big, and I never really knew it was a big like an actual campus.
Yeah.
Until I got out there and obviously started getting recruited, and I was like, when I first stepped out, I'm like, yo, this is like I came with my mom, my sister, and we fell in love with it like from the jump.
Yeah.
I think I've only been to Arizona once before that, and so for me to end up in Arizona and just like end up going to college there, I never would imagine that. Like, but that's how God works. Yeah, you know,
For sure.
He works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
Like legit, I've only been to AZ to play in a volleyball tournament once.
Yeah.
And besides that, it was never on my map.
Yeah.
Like never.
It's so wild. I never thought I would be here. And then I like ended up loving it. And it was like the biggest
like,
blessing.
It's a lot of people say it's pretty similar to Dallas, and I could definitely see it. I say Arizona is a lot more adventurous.
Yeah.
And if you're from Texas, like, or just Dallas and Texas in general, you don't have the same adventures out here. It's like every day you can legit go up to the mountains. Like the nature out here is crazy. I kid you not. Nature out here is crazy. And I'm a city boy, but I don't mind getting into the nature every now and then.
Yeah.
So
no, that's good. That's awesome. I know GCU is such a special place too.
It is. Yeah.
And like the people are so special.
It really is. And like, obviously it's gated off, but once you're in there, it feels like it's its own little bubble. Like if you know where GCU is located. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's once you step onto campus, it's like you forget everything that's going on out there.
Yeah.
It's like its own little bubble.
Yeah.
And the people there, I kid you not, this legit happened to me. I bumped into somebody one day just walking on Lopes Way. If you know, you know. I walked in there. I bumped into somebody. They apologized to me. I said, huh? What do you apologize to me for? I'm the one that bumped into you.
I know, people are so nice.
Like, but it's like everybody's so nice over there, and it's oddly, but it's like when you have that, everybody has that spirit, that same spirit. It's like
Yes.
everyone's just there to have a good time and do their job, like do their mission.
Yeah.
And so it's, at first, looking back, I'm super, super grateful that I went to GCU. And like, I seriously do thank God for sticking me in there and making me trust the process.
Yes.
Because I probably would have been back home in Dallas.
Really?
Yeah.
Think?
Like after the first year, I probably would have been back home in Dallas.
Yeah.
But I trusted, and looking back, I'm thankful for just looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's always the bigger picture. That first year too is like so hard. And once you get past that first year and like really start to find your community and your place, like that's when you start to thrive and start to do really well. But that's awesome. Thanks for sharing all that. And like BK said, we literally haven't seen each other in like a year.
Yeah,
so a lot of this
it's been over a year, like literally.
It has. So a lot of it will be like us catching up too. But okay, so what have you been doing since then? You like graduated, and then obviously I knew what you were kind of doing last year. Are you still in that same position? Have you moved? Are you still in the volleyball house? All those things.
Hey, shout out volleyball house. If you know, you know.
I don't know.
No, you don't.
Thank God.
But no, so since then, I thank God I'm at a new job.
Okay.
I went back home for a little bit actually.
Okay.
But which also tied into me, leaving. Obviously, me and the guys, we all left the volleyball house.
Yeah.
We all went our separate ways. I got a bunch of them overseas right now.
Yeah.
Some of them back home in Cali, and like we're just all pretty much spread out. But we all left. I went back home for some time. I left that job, and I thank God. Like I thank God.
Yeah.
And so came back out here because I was offered a new position at a new, just like, I kid you not, I have no control of this besides God. Like this, where I'm at now is God legit paving the way, and he's placed me somewhere with a bunch of destiny helpers.
Yeah.
And I'm so blessed. Like pretty much beginning of June, it's been a new chapter.
Okay.
Like it's been a new chapter, and like I can only thank God because he's the one that made it all possible, placed me with the right people, and the grace and favor that he's just provided me with. Yeah. It's like I literally have nothing to complain about, really. Mm-hmm. Like I can complain, but it's just, what's that going to help? It's not. And so like I'm super, super thankful. My motivation to hit that next chapter has been higher than it's ever been.
That's so good.
I've been recently, the past few months, just been sort of in a, I don't want to say slump, but in a locked in, almost isolated type of feeling. Yeah. Like you and God. Yes. Me and God, and just focusing on getting into the next chapter. Yeah. I'm talking about getting my applications, my LSAT, everything out the way, personal letter, statements, just all my essays, everything out the way. Yeah. And so I do thank God, because in addition, with me and work and just focusing on my applications, everything, I need a little safe haven, because so volleyball and hooping, those are my safe havens. Yeah. And like on campus, volleyball, obviously like I was there to play volleyball, but volleyball and hooping till this day will forever be my safe haven. Mm-hmm. Like anytime I step into the four lines, everything else just goes away. Like I kid you not. And so throughout this period, I had sort of like isolated myself from, I don't say isolated in terms of bad. Isolation is not bad. Like we all need isolation. Mm-hmm. Because that's where God really works on us. For sure. So that the things we do in private can be seen in public, mm-hmm. in a good way. And so whenever I was going through this period, just focusing on my LSAT, and, first one didn't go how I was playing, I'm like, all right, got to get back into like ghost mode. Mm-hmm. I was like, man, I'm just a little annoyed. But through this period, he blessed me with the opportunity to coach. Yeah. Yeah. And so it's like, it's volleyball, mm-hmm. safe haven, and then also giving back to prepare the next generation, which is so awesome. And like it's so much fun, like playing at the level that they want to get to, mm-hmm. and being able to help them, and just like, we're not too far off in age, but being able to just, because they're my little sister's age, I kid you not. Aww. Yeah, and so like to them, like this group that I have, they're very, very special because they're my little sister's age.
Mm-hmm.
And so it brings me so much joy being able to just help them with their craft.
Mm-hmm.
And I seriously, like when I say I thank God, I seriously thank God because some people might see it as a distraction. Well, I'm like, bro, you have work, you have your applications outside, like you don't have time to hang out, but you can go coach. I'm like,
that's where you're called.
It's two different what do you want to call it? Like two different meanings out there.
Two different ways that you kind of like view it. It's not work for you.
Yeah, it's not work for me. It's not like, oh my gosh, I got to go coach now and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I seriously do love it, and it brings so much joy because you're mixing one being a steward and being a servant. Yeah. And like leading. Like you're showing the next generation how to work hard, play hard, have fun with it, to trust yourself, trust those around you, trust those leading you, and how to play through. Like something I'm still working on, and I would seriously love to do is be able to show them how to play through and for God, which is where the joy comes in.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I love it. Like I definitely needed that throughout my application process for law school. Yeah. I needed it because when I tell you I wasn't like, I've been MIA, I haven't really I really only talked to my family, family, like just, really, really just family. And so like, whenever he threw me this opportunity, I was like, yes, like 100%.
Yeah, and like, I love that it doesn't feel like work for you. No. And especially hearing you talk about like your job now compared to where you were last year.
Oh, don't even get me started.
I felt so bad. Like I was trying to help you dig yourself out of this hole that you were in because you just felt so miserable and like lost. And in those seasons of waiting, like when you're in the thick of it, it is so hard. It's hard. And you don't know it until you're there. No, and you can't even explain it because I feel like you just have to go through it of being in the thick of it and being in that dark hole when it's just you and like God and having to eventually get yourself out of it. 100%. And he will provide when the timing is right, but that waiting period sucks.
Yeah, the waiting period, it definitely sucks. And I love what you just said about he will provide at the right time because our God, he's an on-time God. He's never late. We're either early or we're not catching up with him. Yeah. If he's way up there, what are we doing still behind here? We got to go catch up with him. And so he is an on-time God. I kid you not. And he does everything for a specific reason. Like
absolutely.
Like the details, he loves the details. And so a prayer, like a little prayer I say every day that's tapped into my bigger prayer is, God, thank you for the big blessings, but especially thank you for the small blessings because the small blessings make up the big blessings.
Yeah, I love that.
And like, it's tough. It's definitely tough. But a verse that I've been living by since then, and I can't remember if I told you or not, but a verse I've been living by is Proverbs 16:9 because as you know, I had planned something else. I was planning on coming back. Like I still have 1.5 years eligibility.
Yeah.
And so
we talked all about that.
Yeah. And so like it's when you say I was in the mud, I was in the mud because life just wasn't lifing. Life was just not lifing. And so I've always I feel like I've always been strong in my faith. And I've always known that all right, God is going to provide. That's just how I was raised, and that's how I will continue to go about life. Like when your faith is so strong, you know that no matter what, God will provide. Yeah. He will get you out of it. And so whenever I was in that position, like life was seriously not lifing. And
it's humbling.
It wasn't fun.
I think humble is the best way to describe it.
It was definitely humbling because I had planned for something else, and then
when you plan for something else, then God's like,
no, this is not. And so I'm like, all right, and I was just like there. I was just stuck a little bit, and when I tell you I lost my motivation, my aspirations to go to the next chapter, which is law school. The process and everything I'm going through now, I feel like I could have been complete already if if I was just in a different location at a different area.
Yeah.
But I think and I seriously do believe and think that what God was trying to build within me then during that season, that rough season.
Yeah.
Especially whenever all your boys are like
still in it.
Yeah, still in it. Like, so I do thank him for placing me there because I was still a part of it, a part of the team and everything. But whenever they're still like actually in it and you're like, man, body good, I'm not injured, I can still get it. I'm like it was definitely very humbling. Just like, wow, like it definitely made me not who I did not want to be. And in the moment during the process, I could not see what God was doing.
Yeah.
Like,
it's hard to see it too. It's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel when it feels like there's not one.
100%. And it was just like, all right, God, like, what are you like what's going on? Like what's happening, man? Like big man, talk to me.
Yeah.
And so Proverbs 16:9, to circulate back to it, is man can plan, but God is the one directing his steps. And when I tell you that I've been living by that, Proverbs 16:9, don't forget it. That
write it down.
We plan.
So much.
We plan, but ultimately he's the one directing our steps.
Yeah.
We can plan to get from A to D. The question is, how are you going to get to B and C?
Yeah.
God is good. God is going to direct you to get over to D. And so legit, that's something that I've just been living by and learning about. And ever since I actually started to understand what that means, and then in addition to understanding that God is an on-time God, I've had a just like it was a weight lifted off. And then obviously, going back home, it definitely did help just relieve some of the stress. And I don't really like to use that word. I don't like to use the word stress or nervous. Okay. Because there's better ways to use it. And if you know how to use stress and nervousness, you could be lethal. Like if you know how to use it for your advantage, that's super, super good. Yeah. That's super, super good. And I don't like the negative, I guess, notion around it. Like, I'm so stressed, so nervous. Like, no, it means you care. It means you care.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
When you're nervous, when you're nervous, you care. When you're stressed, it's like, all right, breathe, calm down, figure out the point of attack. And obviously you have so much, if you're stressed, you have a lot that's on your mind. And so that's something that another verse that is always coming to mind whenever I think about stress, Matthew 6, 33, 34. Okay. Pretty much saying like, do not worry about tomorrow. Yeah. For today has its own. And so I was like, all right, there's nothing to be stressed about. Yeah. Because he's an on-time God. He will provide. Yes. You just have to listen to him. Yeah. And be obedient.
Yeah. And he'll provide with the most perfect timing that even like we can't even fathom. Like I was writing the other day I am reading through Matthew right now. Okay. And I'm getting to like when Jesus was betrayed and before he like died on the cross and just talking through like Jesus knew his ultimate fate. But he still trusted in his God. And like I was writing down notes and just like maybe God doesn't reveal our plans to us because he knows that they will scare us, or he knows that they will freak us out and we'll want to either rebel or run in the 100%. Other direction, or like have imposter syndrome of we don't think we're capable. 100%. But he equips us with what we need and when we need it. And it's hard. Like I was joking the other day, I was like, God is just gatekeeping my future again. Like I don't know what comes after I graduate in October.
The big man's gatekeeping.
Yeah. But it's just, I know, seriously. But I know that it's the reason why he's doing it is because he will reveal his plans at the perfect time.
100%.
And our brains can't even comprehend like the plans that he has for us. I think that's another thing too, is our human brains can't even comprehend that.
Oh, so another metaphor that you being an athlete would understand, and this is something I like to tell just other athletes, is we think we're so strong that we can do a lot by ourselves. For instance, if you have a gym, you're in a gym and you got 10 racks. we can probably lift 1 rack, but God can lift all 10 of them on one hand. Like, make that make sense.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
that's how strong he is.
Mm-hmm.
We can only do 5 plates.
Yeah. He's
called the big man for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his strength.
It's so real. That's a good metaphor.
Yes, and so like it's actually insane when you really like start to like think about it, and just I think that's another reason why stress for me has like I've been able to cope with it. Mm-hmm. Although I feel like maybe other people would say that it depends. I don't know, like, because I've noticed that through this period, this season, of just getting ready for law school and preparations and just locking in on my tests, personal statements, all that kind of stuff, application process. People said like stress with me. I noticed that I definitely did sort of quiet myself, like isolate myself, like I said earlier, and just pretty much just if you're not family, I wasn't really making my way to go out, especially if it's not within like my vicinity. Yeah. I wasn't really making my way to like make it a point, make it an effort to reach out. Yeah. And that's not me. And like, but it was something that I definitely had to learn. Just like, all right, what are you doing if you're not reaching out and you're not doing all this other stuff? What are you doing with that time? Mm-hmm. And that's where I'm like, all right, that legit all my time was focused on that. Yeah. Focus on that. And so then I go back to what I said earlier about whenever God threw me this opportunity to coach, it definitely did help me like, all right, settle down. Yeah, relax. Like settle down. Mm-hmm. Because it got to a point where I was putting, and obviously I felt like I had to dedicate more time because I was working, during the day, 8 hours during the day. And so I can't really compete with other people that have an ample amount of time to study. Yeah. Whereas I are still in school or whatever, are only working at like getting into law school right now. Yeah. That's the only thing. And like me, I'm working full time, and so it was definitely a new type of, I guess, feeling or just direction that I had to like, all right, challenge that I had to overcome. Yeah. But like I said, with God has placed me, my motivation, aspirations is honestly what fueled me throughout that time. Yeah, because I guarantee if I was still stuck at the other place, and I was trying to do this, it'd be the same story. Mm-hmm. You were so miserable. And I was miserable. I felt so bad. Like I was like, let's brainstorm ideas of how to get you out of this position. Like put it like this, and I started to legit look into different fields. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I was looking at completely different field, and then whenever he's the on-time God, when he threw the opportunity to come to this new place, I was like, it's the most optimal prime time. Because it was around whenever we were all like, going our own ways. And I'm like, all right, going back home. Yeah. Boom. And then next thing you know, you're back. Yeah. And like, so we have it's actually funny too, because me and my coworkers, we joke about it to this day. Like, we have a Dallas office as well. Oh, okay. And so I was like, oh, that's perfect. Like, back home. However, whenever this opportunity came through, the Dallas one wasn't available. Oh. And it was other pieces that played into me picking this location. But I'm very glad I chose this location, because this is like the hub. Oh, okay, yeah. Like this is the main office. Okay. And so that's cool. Like, he's legit placed me with there's this term that we use at work. It's called high rollers. Okay. And so he's placed me with the high rollers, which is so cool. And so like, it just, when you think about it, like the way that he works is so mysteriously, but he's everything is important. Every single detail is important. Absolutely. So like, I'm so thankful. Like it's I don't say new me, but yes, from when you met me to now, it's a new me. Yeah. Because, no, I see it for sure. And like, the way that you even talk about coaching and just all that, like, I love it.
Total 180 from where you were a year ago.
I'm so
Which is
glad.
crazy how much can happen in a year and how much we can change in a year, but also how much work God can do in a year.
Yes, 100%.
In our lives.
100%.
It's insane for sure. But what's like a piece of advice that you would give to BK a year ago?
So BK a year ago, biggest advice I would tell him is trust and do not squander your time. Because whenever you are given an opportunity and you squander it, that could be the opportunity going away. And trust the timing.
That's good.
Because he is an on-time God.
For sure. Yeah.
And he does not make mistakes. I'll tell you that.
Never. Yeah.
He does not make mistakes.
I think that's kind of where I'm at right now with just like graduating in October, my future. And I know we've talked about this before too. And a year ago, I wasn't as concerned as I am now, but just having those conversations with different people about what my future looks like and people asking now, oh, what are you doing after you graduate? And I have no clue. I know the direction that I want to go in, but I also know that God loves to surprise me with things and take me new places, and never thought I would end up in Idaho for school, never thought I would end up here, and they've been the biggest blessings in my life. So just trying to trust him in that, but it's hard for sure.
No, it is.
It's tough.
It's definitely tough. And so I feel like another way that people are asking you about your graduation. People in my circumstance are asking me, so like where you want to go for law school? Like what's your number one?
I was gonna ask that question actually.
Well, all right, go ahead and ask the question. Go ahead and ask the question.
Where do you want to go to law school? What's your dream school?
That's a great
Has
question.
it changed since we last spoke?
All right, so yes, it has.
Okay.
Because when we last spoke, I think I was pretty stuck on ASU or pretty.
No, you wanted to go to Duke or Rice. I feel like. Am I wrong in those?
No. You're right. It was Duke. It was Duke.
Yeah.
It was Duke. It was Duke and ASU. And
okay.
Duke, I said, so put it like this, and this is something I had to learn. Someone said dream school is always going to be your dream school. Like, just because it's...
Wait, say that again?
Dream school is always going to be your dream school just because it's just your dream. Like, it's just...
You're living, yeah.
Yeah, it's like...
You're going to law school, so wherever you go to school is your dream school.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, for instance, like for Duke, since I was a little kid, Duke was always just like, oh, yeah, Duke. And I think that's why it's like...
And they're very good at basketball and all that stuff.
And so I think that's why it was always my dream school. Like, I'd love to go to Duke. But answer your question, where is my number one school? Which I've been getting asked that a lot.
Oh, I'm sure.
I can't really say I have a number one because if I get into any law school I get into, it's a great opportunity. And that's wherever I do end up, that's where God wants me to be.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I'm going to make the most of it no matter what.
Yeah.
And so I don't really have a number one, but I have top fives.
Yeah. Okay, so what are your top five?
All right, top five, Notre Dame, ASU, Marquette, SMU.
Where's Marquette? Sorry.
Wisconsin.
Okay. Oh, wow. I know. You would move to Wisconsin.
Hey, they have a great sports art program. Shout out Marquette.
Okay.
But, yeah, I'll say those and then UNLV in Vegas.
Okay. That's where I'm from.
Yeah. Okay. And so
I don't know much about their law program. I feel like I've had a few people I know graduate from there.
It's a sleeper school, but it's a sleeper school that, how do you say this? It's a school that there's power behind it. Okay. Same with Marquette. Marquette and UNLV are both sleeper schools. Okay. Or you can say a sleeper car. Like, you know that it looks good and everything, but it doesn't really look that good
from like the outside. Yeah, like it doesn't look shiny from the outside. Yeah. Okay. But I see that.
The power behind it.
Yes.
Oh, like that car can move. Like it's a sleeper car. Sleeper build.
That's interesting.
And I know with Vegas, with UNLV, it's my reasoning for that one is just because the potential in terms of sports world, like,
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It's like pretty much the mecca of.
I think you would like Vegas too. I think.
That's cool. I was out there not too long ago for a tournament, actually. Okay. but it's the mecca of sports for.
It wasn't growing up though, which is crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's so
like
wild.
just within the past couple of years.
And I guarantee you, I put money on it that Braun is going to have a team in Vegas.
An NBA team?
Yes.
Okay. Because our WNBA team is phenomenal.
Yes.
They're insane. They're really good.
But like, also think of the other sports they have. Y'all legit have every sport out there.
Yeah. Now we have baseball, yeah.
Y'all legit have every sport, even volleyball. It's already the mecca for basketball. Like USA basketball, that's home of USA basketball, and just so that's sort of my reasoning with UNLV.
Okay, cool.
But my number one, I seriously out of that top 5, I'd be thankful to get into any one of those.
Okay.
For instance, Notre Dame. I love the mission that they preach. I love their mission that they seriously do preach. And
what is their mission? I don't think I know.
It's real simple, actually.
Okay.
Really, really simple. And I mean, it's a lot of words, but if you break it down to the core of it, it's essentially being a different kind of lawyer.
Okay.
And so you're probably thinking like different kind of lawyer, like practice wise, or no? It's talking. They're going deeper than the surface.
Okay.
As in they want to build up lawyers that are more than just lawyers. Okay. Just as athletes, we're more than just athletes.
Yeah.
Take that into the legal world, more than just lawyers.
That's cool.
Like, we're called to be servants.
Yeah.
And so I seriously
That's
do love.
really cool.
Yeah, it's very cool, and it's I say Notre Dame it's a God willing, everything goes well, and that's where I do end up. It'll be a funny testimony because I kid you not, because like whenever it was never on my map. I obviously had some high school friends and then some boys from GCU that went there, for the master's program and everything, but Notre Dame was never really on my map. Like I kid you not. And after like legit, I only added to my list because one of the associates where I work now, who I thank God for placing in my life because he's also been a mentor.
Okay, that's cool.
And legal and faith wise as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, 100%. So just being able to see that like, oh, like he's practicing his faith while being a lawyer. Like legit, he's doing both.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And so, but he like one of my first days there, like I kid you not, first days, he's just like, hey, you should look at Notre Dame. And I don't know how we got to talking, but we crossed paths somehow. And then he was like, yeah, you should look at Notre Dame. And I was just like, yeah, sure. All right, yeah, cool.
Indiana.
I wasn't really looking, but all right, I'll just put it on the list.
Yeah.
And so it was like at the bottom of my list. And
okay.
After time, just doing more of my own due diligence and just looking into them and obviously hearing other people's testimony. Yeah. I was like, whoa. And keep in mind, I have not taken a visit up there. I really do want to, but I love this.
Yeah.
Like,
that's cool.
Like, I seriously do love this.
Would you do okay in the cold? Because Indiana gets cold. I've heard Notre Dame's campus is beautiful, but
it's a very beautiful campus.
I don't know how you would do with the snow.
I don't know how I would do either.
I think you could survive.
I'm a baby
for 3
when it
years.
comes to the cold. I'm a baby when it comes to the cold.
Why are you looking at schools in Wisconsin? Vegas, you would be fine.
Yes.
But Wisconsin and Indiana.
Yeah, I know. It's cold.
Hey, God provides.
You'll
be fine.
He provides.
You'll be fine.
It's cold.
You'll survive, yeah. And it's 3 years, you're looking at it like my brother's actually I feel like I've told you this, in grad school at TCU.
Yeah.
And I think they like Texas, him and his girlfriend, but he had his car stolen. He had his bike stolen. Yeah. Fort Worth is kind of getting bad.
Fort Worth don't play around.
No.
I'll tell you that.
No, they don't. That's what we're learning right now.
Should have left on campus.
But he is just kind of in the place of, right now it's just for the time being and trying to make the best of it. And you're so outgoing that you're going to make friends and be okay wherever you're at. I
appreciate that. And that's also why my answer is anywhere I do go, that's where God's going to take me, and I'm going to make the most of it.
Yeah. For sure.
Because, like, I'm not going to squander this time. He brought me out here. I'm not going to squander this time.
Yeah. No, that's like, good. You'll be just fine.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited. I'm really excited, and like you just want to know so bad.
Yeah, it's the not knowing is
it's
hard.
It's the not knowing, and you could take that into a lot of different aspects, but it's the not knowing that I feel like kills all of us.
It's hard. That's where you have to like trust him the most.
So okay, like my question is, my next question for you is going off.
You're interviewing me now.
Yes, going off that.
Okay.
All right, welcome to my podcast.
It's turned into the BK show.
And I feel like you've probably seen this circulate somewhere on social media before. Whereas we know we'll get into a bus not knowing the driver. We'll get into a boat not knowing the captain.
Yeah.
We'll get into the airplane not knowing the pilot. So the question is, you know God,
I know.
yet you still don't trust him to stay along the ride.
I think it's hard because the ride is so, not to give excuses, but because the ride is so long. So it's like you go through waves.
Is that where the not knowing where this ride is going, that makes us not trust?
Maybe, yeah. Like when you're on a plane, you know where your destination is. When you're on a boat, you know where your destination is. But it's like that blind faith. But I think that's what makes it so much more special. Then, because you don't know where you're going, so I guess you can't be disappointed. Too. Like, if you were on a flight to Dallas and then you got rerouted to Oklahoma, like, you would be mad, you know?
Yeah.
Where if we don't know where we're going, it could be so much better than what we originally planned.
Which is, I like that. I like that.
So it's like, it's sweet when you get there, but the process is hard.
The process, yes. All right. And so what advice could you give to somebody that is struggling with just understanding that the process is where it really matters?
Yeah. I think you have to have a lot of patience in those times. And patience is so hard.
Patience is a virtue.
Yes, for sure. I would say just be consistent. I think something that you brought up with right now, you're applying to law school and like preparing for the LSAT and everything. What we do in this season of waiting speaks so highly to like how we get there, and talking about your process and just like you could have gotten there faster if you wouldn't have spent all this time doing other things. I think in those seasons of waiting, we don't have to be overproductive, but we also don't have to sit around and wait for something to come or wait for God to provide. We can be actively working. And I kind of talked about this in my trailer episode of like, what can we actively be doing and how can we actively be working? So that way, because God's working the whole time. It's not like he might be quiet, but it's not like he's stopped working.
No, 100%. And I think I love that you brought that up, because that's a forgotten piece. I don't hear a lot of people talking about that, really. I seriously don't hear a lot of people talking about that. Is such a forgotten piece right there. He never stops working.
Never.
Like, he never stops working. So just because it's quiet right now, in terms of there's no motion or you're just stuck in place right now, does not mean that God's not working behind the scenes.
I think that's when he does his best work, truthfully.
100%.
Is when he's quiet. Because that's when you have to trust him the most and when you have to keep going.
100%. 100%. Because you seriously have to trust him most to be able to keep going.
Yes.
And so something I heard recently within the past 6 months, I want to say, you're only stuck if you decide to stay stuck.
Ooh, that's good.
And so I do wish I would have heard that last year.
Yes.
Because another reason why I felt stuck almost at my old place was because I felt like I owed it to the person that had helped me land that. And
that job, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I feel like I'd owe being very loyal to that person who's also a mentor, who helped land that.
That's hard.
And so I was like, legit, we had conversations and we were just talking. I'm just like, yeah, and I knew from the jump that this is not it, but you know what, just getting my feet into the door.
Mm-hmm. And you got to see it through. And as athletes, we're not like quitters.
We just
like,
exactly, we're not quitters, so we just don't give up. That symbol. Like, giving up is hard for me. I kid you not. Giving up is hard for me.
My parents like never let me quit anything in my life.
Literally.
And even if I didn't go back for the next season, like I still finished out the year strong.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I get that.
And so that's like, it was, I wish I would have heard that back then, just because it definitely would have helped my mentality per se. Knowing that, all right, I'm only stuck here if I decide to stay stuck. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the person that helped me land that, they sort of said the same thing, but in their own version. And they had told me that no one told you to stay here that long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no one's forcing you to be here.
Yeah, no one's forcing me. And I legit told them, I'm like, yeah, but I could have been making an excuse. I don't know. But I was like, you helped me land this, so like, I don't want to
disrespect.
Yeah.
Disappoint. I think disappointment's a big one. Yeah,
that's a good one right there. That's a good one. And so for me, with the person that helped land it, they had told me, you will not disappoint me. In fact, you will help. You'll make it up to me by what you do down the road.
That's a good mentor to have.
And like, fast forward time, got up out of there, went back home, and now I'm just like, I'm so blessed. Like, I'm so blessed.
Yeah, that's
and
so
the
great
blessings,
to hear.
Like, the blessings they're still coming. Like, they're still coming.
Yeah, like when it rains, it pours. Seriously,
when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I'm so happy. Like, you seem like you're just in such a better spot and a better place, and to hear that you've done the work and now you're on the other side of it. It's hard to talk, because I remember I was on the other side of it, and obviously I've grown even more since then. We kind of talked about that too, but just like watching you be in that hole and then now seeing you on the other side of it, like, I'm super proud of you.
100%. And like,
it's exciting to see.
It's super exciting, and I'm ready to gain. Like I said, I haven't been as social just because I've been in such an isolation
for sure
type of process. But I don't say get back to being me, because it's like, oh man, it's almost like I was out of character for a second. Like,
no, I know. I was like, BK's always posting on Instagram. Where did this guy go? He disappeared. You literally went ghost mode. I
kid you not.
Is he okay?
As we speak today, one of my guys hit me up earlier this morning. I was like, bro, you've been MIA.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah. Kind of fun though.
It is.
Allow people to wonder what you've been up to.
Yeah.
And then just like shock them with what you've been working on.
And with like just what you said right now, the things that, or we said earlier, God has been working on me in private, so that the things can be seen in public.
Yeah.
And it's not to boast. It's not to boast about anything I've done. It's about boasting for what He's blessed me with.
He's done, yeah.
And where He's taken me.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, when I say I'm excited, like I'm thankful for this period. Because I've definitely grown through this like, I guess, quiet period. It's definitely been a growing in the sense of I feel like I've properly learned how to fully lock in on all aspects.
Yeah.
And to still have that safe haven to be able to almost like relax. If I didn't have this coaching role, the two things I'd be doing, work and just applications, like application process.
Sounds so miserable.
It sounds miserable. And so like, I needed this safe haven.
Yeah. It's a different outlet for,
yes.
And it's something that God was able to provide in your life too, which is cool.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said earlier, it's like giving back, serving His next children. Like, I love that. I seriously, it brings me so much joy, like especially with this team, and just coaching in general with all these kids.
It's so special. Like it literally, like my heart like swells every day just by coaching and just coaching. Like I get to coach college kids, which is really fun.
Yeah, I bet.
Kind of wild, like being close in age with them too. But
yeah, it's already known.
But like I think about this senior class, they would have been freshmen when I was a senior. And so that's kind of wild of like, this is the last class that I would have like been on a team with, just that closeness in age, but then also teaching at the dance studio that I teach at and doing choreo, like getting to work with athletes at all different levels.
Yeah.
You're literally teaching them how to do their sport, but then also how to like act and how to treat like their teachers and their coaches. And it's kind of wild. I'm like, who gave me this responsibility?
Literally, no, facts.
I'm like, am I qualified and equipped to do this?
Facts. You mentioned a great point. You mentioned a great. I love that you brought that up because, and obviously you're like close in age with, you just said it, you would have been senior whenever these girls are freshmen. So you're probably just like, why y'all listening to me? like legit. I'm like, why y'all listening to me? Like I'm just out here. And so
I'm like, do I even have advice to give? Which I know I do, but
yes, and I love that you brought that up because I feel like that's something that's another aspect that in terms of wisdom that I've been praying on, like just God to like, grant me that wisdom to be able to lead others. And
that's good.
That is something that I've had to, like I said earlier, I'm hard on myself, but that's just nature in me. And so I've had to come to terms with and really, really like, truly understanding the opportunity that God gives us and how to not squander it. And so you talk about authority. That is something that when I tell you that, like, I question myself so many times, just like
that
God,
imposter syndrome.
Yeah,
too
like God, like who am I? I don't have the stats to be doing all of this. I'm not no all American. Granted, I've been in the same practice. Like I've played against them, played with them. But I don't have the qualifications. I don't have the credentials, the stats to be giving advice to y'all. Like who am I?
Yeah.
And so something I realized is that and I think don't quote me on this, but I think it's Joshua 1:9. I want to say.
Okay.
But where he calls us, he has given us the authority. And so that's something that I've seriously had to build. I've had to learn, like be okay with, come to terms with, like, God has called me here. He's given me the authority. He's given me a voice to use.
Yeah.
He's given me the qualities to be able to help others get closer to him and to lead them in the right way.
Yeah.
And so I had to stop questioning myself, like, no, he called you here for a reason.
For sure.
He's giving you this authority.
Yeah.
He's placed me with these high rollers for a reason. He's given me the authority. It's not time to be like stand in the back.
Yeah.
Like, you have a voice, use it.
Yeah. It makes me think of I think it's 1 Timothy 4:12. I could totally be off on the verse number, but talks about just because, like, don't let people criticize you just because you're young. Like, what you have to say and what you have to do is still valuable. And I feel like in your 20s, like, that is so prevalent of, like, being in a workplace of probably people that aren't all in their 20s, you know?
Definitely not. I'm a baby over there.
Yeah.
Not for real.
Yeah, no, seriously. And I mean, it's hard in my place of work because I'm around college students all the time, but then also working with professionals that have been there for years. Like, God wouldn't have put me here, and God wouldn't have. And I even remember in my interview for GCU, they asked me, like, well, you are only a year older than our oldest senior. Like, how? And I'm just like, all right, this is the perfect time for me to talk about this. And just like, I can provide a new perspective. And just because I'm younger doesn't mean I'm not valuable. And I think that goes for, like, everyone listening who's in their 20s. And it's just like, you still have so much to provide and so much value in your place of work, especially in like those 9 to 5 corporate jobs. Like
I'll tell you, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Like what you have, like God wouldn't have placed you there if he didn't think that you were worthy and he didn't think that you were capable and equipped to be in that position. So I love that you brought that up because it's so real and it's so
You know,
true.
like a quote that's, I don't want to say it's cliche or cheesy, but it's just been used so many times, and I don't know if like right way or not, but like he doesn't call the qualified.
Yeah.
He qualifies the ones that he's chosen.
Mm-hmm. I think about David, honestly.
100%.
Like David was a shepherd boy and like what became a king.
Talking about a guy that took it on Goliath. There's the last son.
Yeah.
The dude out there in the yard working.
Mm-hmm.
Bro hasn't
that
even,
no one thought about, no one cared about.
Buddy hasn't even been in the weight room, and you want him to get on the court? Like what? He still has a semester left of high school, and you want him to be a starter? Like get out of here. I love that example because it's so true that knowing that God has placed you here for a reason.
Mm-hmm. And finding your place in the world. Yeah.
100. He's chosen you to use your, and speaking of my abilities, so another little prayer that I say within my big prayer every single morning is, God, allow me to use the gifts and abilities you've given me, not for my will, but for your will.
That's good.
Because we all have gifts and abilities. I kid you, we all have gifts and abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to know how to use it.
Yeah. It's like he gives them to us and he's like, okay. And then we have to figure it out.
Yes. And literally, it's like we have to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But we figure it out through being obedient to him and listening to where he's taking us, who he's placing around us.
Yes. Yeah.
Listening to his word.
Yeah.
Because he will teach us how to use them.
For sure.
And there's so many people that are just using the gifts and their abilities. I don't want to say for bad, but they're just not using it in the right way.
To their fullest potential.
Yes. To the fullest potential. I love that. To the fullest potential.
Yeah. And it's hard for sure.
What's been one of the biggest things that you learned since being able to understand that, all right, I can coach these girls that are 3 years younger than me, 2 years.
Yeah.
What's been that, like, the biggest thing you've learned?
Yeah. I think for me, it was kind of finding my place, especially like amongst the other coaches and our choreographers that we bring in, just kind of finding like, okay, how can I be valuable to these athletes and like what value can I provide? And I think for me, being their biggest supporter and their biggest cheerleader has been number one of just like, you know, I had an amazing grad assistant when I was on the dance team at Boise that was so encouraging and like would stand there and run laps with us and would just like be in it with us.
Really? Okay.
And I feel like I had so much respect for him when he would like do that because it was like inspiring, truthfully. And so I try to be their biggest cheerleader, but also I went through what they're currently going through not too long ago, and I'm able to provide kind of perspective on that. And I think that's where my insight is valuable, of especially with my seniors that are graduating, getting to kind of walk through this season of life with them and have them reach out and just kind of be like, I'm scared. I don't know what life looks like. And me just be like, that's normal. Like, let's normalize that. And that's what this podcast is about too, of like, let's normalize the scary. Let's normalize the, I don't know what's next for me. Because if we normalize it and we talk about it, then no one feels lost or confused. Everyone feels like I have a place. So I think that's where I've kind of been able to find my value of just being, I don't want to say big sister, but just being a mentor in that way of, okay, how can I just support them? I don't have all the knowledge. I don't have the years of experience that other coaches do, but I have what I know and I have the value that I'm able to provide to them and the advice that I'm able to give them. So
I love that answer.
Yeah.
So along with that, have you seen yourself sort of playing a new role that's like not typical for you? Like, have you seen yourself out of character? Not a bad character, but just into a new character.
Yeah. I think honestly, I talk about this all the time, but those athletes inspire me so much, and they've helped me grow so much, I would say, in my faith. Like watching the way that those kids, I call them kids. They're not kids. But watching those athletes, like the way they love Jesus and the way they love each other, like that was something that I didn't always experience like on my team, and no shade there whatsoever. But I think when you have Jesus at the center of like your team, it impacts everything, and it affects the way that you guys talk to each other. It affects the way that you guys, and like I look back and wish and know that I could have been such a better teammate. I could have been such a better leader. I could have been such a better athlete to my coach. Like if I would have been in that more. So if I'm pointing the blame's on me for sure. Yeah. But I think just watching the way that they love each other and love dance and love what they do is really inspiring, and they've completely changed me and how I look at life and how I act, and also knowing that, I mean, I hope they look up to me, but that's what I think is like they're looking up to me, and they're seeing what I post on social media. They're seeing how I act. They're seeing what I do in my free time. How am I acting to be the best influence that I can be to them? 100%. I think they've helped me, like they, without even doing it, have held me to a higher standard that I don't know I would have, like, I've always held myself to a high standard, but they hold me even higher.
And I think another forgotten aspect, and I was talking to with one of my guys about this a while back, but in terms of the social media aspect of like, especially you being in this position where the girls are able to find any information about you.
Yes.
Literally.
Yeah.
And so knowing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you've been able to portray that online as well as living it in person.
Yes.
So like it's super transparent from online to in person.
Yeah. Like if I'm having a bad day, you're probably going to know. You're going to know in person, but you're probably going to know online too. And like, I've always just wanted to be like that and just be real and to show them like, okay, you don't need to put everything on social media, but like be real and like just trying to be a better version of myself, I guess.
I love it. 100%. So. 100%. Like that's, and like I said, you 100% provide perspective for these younger girls and just guidance for these younger girls. Because it's like, you have nothing to hide. Yeah.
No, I don't. Because anything that I'm ashamed of, like, Jesus has already forgiven.
100%. Like, not facts. Like, literally facts.
So, it's been really special.
And like, if you feel like you need to hide or put on a new front, and this is like honestly, for all of us in our 20s. Yeah. There's no need to put on a new front. Instead of trying to fake it till you make it, start practicing it. Yeah. Start practicing it and believing it. Claiming and surrendering it over to God. Yeah.
That's good.
And so like we don't need to put on a front, because then it's like it's a whole imposter. Yeah. Because that's only what this person sees online. All right, what about what's being done in private? Going back to what we said earlier. Yeah. What's being done in private?
Because that always gets revealed. Like, no matter how hard we try to hide it, like, what we do in private is always going to be revealed to like, how we treat people in public. And honestly, too, like, how we treat ourselves is a representation of how we treat others, and ultimately, like, how we treat God, too. So...
that's tough. I like that one.
I wrote that down the other day of just like how we treat others is a representation of how we treat like God and how we treat ourselves.
I love that. No, that's fire. So what's been like not necessarily a challenge, but with you graduating,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously you have the next chapter, what's been a challenge for you to admit?
Yeah. I think just the fear of failure, honestly. Of there's things that I feel like there's dreams that God has placed on my heart and things that I want to accomplish, but the fear of telling, like speaking that out into existence and then not actually allowing that to happen or making that happen. I know I've talked to you before about just like full transparency of wanting to dance professionally.
Yeah.
And that's been something that's been really hard. And I go back and forth a lot about because I know it's going to be hard work to get there. And then just the fear of putting it out there and then not actually doing it. Yeah.
I feel you. Yeah.
So, and I know God's plans are so much better than my own, but I do feel like that's a dream that he's placed on my heart for a while now. And so now it's like speaking it into even existence. A bigger existence, like of saying it out loud now. But I think that's an area I've been struggling in of just the fear of failure. Not necessarily that in particular, but even just with a job and wondering like, can I make this all happen? Can I do everything that I want to do? Can I accomplish everything that I want to accomplish? And the fear of failing and failing publicly because I have created my life to be very public and I don't hide anything and I wear my heart on my sleeve and just the fear of
that's a big one. That's a big one right there.
Yeah.
Because that is literally that's the one that would definitely like bring us down. Mm-hmm. The fearing, not just failing, but failing in public. Mm-hmm. But that's where humility comes in. Yeah. And honestly, for people that, hey, if you fail in public, if you want to call it your rock bottom, good. Hit that rock bottom because when you're rock bottom, you have nothing else to clinch onto besides God. Mm-hmm. So true. You have nothing else to hold on to. You have nothing else to front, etc., to put out besides saying, God, I need you. Mm-hmm. I need you. Yeah. And that's where his weakness or his strength comes into our weakness and is made perfect whenever we are at rock bottom. Yeah. Because we literally have nothing else. Like, all right, I got nothing. God, whatever you say, I'm gonna do it now. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a wake up call. Like, all right.
Wake up call is a good word to describe it.
It's like, all right, let's go. And so, but I do hear you that those sort of, similar, same too. Honestly, those fears, I have those same, like, real similar fears. Yeah. And especially the failing, because obviously we're just inclined to, we want to win. Mm-hmm. Yes. And so, like, we want the competitiveness. Yeah. And so the failing part, that's like whoa. But I think where a lot of us have an advantage is because that when we do fail, we know that, all right, we got to attack it a different way. Mm-hmm. Don't take it as a loss, take it as a lesson. And like you've probably heard that plenty of times, but don't take it as a loss, take it as a lesson. Mm-hmm. And so that's something that I do thank my community for, just my upbringing, for teaching me that a failure is only a loss if you let it sit.
That's good. If you let it sit, that's a good one. I think like the humbleness in that too. Like I kind of wrote it down on a sticky note because I did kind of want to talk about it, but Kelly Schmidt came in. Shout out Kelly. I'm trying to get her on the pod.
Yo, you get her. That'll be big. That'll be super big. Shout out Kelly.
She's awesome.
She helped me during another, honestly, the first time that I felt like I was being tested within my identity in a way. Yeah. During volleyball. Like during my career.
That's a whole other thing we could get into.
really shout out Kelly because she's a real one and she's been through it, she's lived it, And she is currently living it now by helping all of us, the next generation, get to the same point.
Yeah, she's amazing. But she came in on Wednesday and did chapel with us, and we talked through Deuteronomy. And so I wrote it down. It's Deuteronomy 8:2-3. And it says, God humbled them in the wilderness, letting them hunger, and then providing manna to teach them that they do not live by bread alone, but by every word from God. And I think it's in those humbling moments. I mean, we've all experienced them, and it is not fun whatsoever. But I think in those moments, that's where we experience the most growth and are really able to, kind of what we talked about, step into that next chapter and that next season and really step into what God has planned for us. And I think humbleness and humility are necessary. And Kelly just kind of talked about, like, if we don't humble ourselves before God, he will humble us.
Ooh.
And he will do it in, like, I don't want to say the biggest way, but in a way that we...
Publicly.
Yeah, publicly, for sure. So,
as simple as that. He will humble us publicly.
Yeah.
Because you do not want to humble yourselves privately.
That's good.
Like, it's so funny how in that little phrase, what's done private is seen public, or however you want to phrase it. That can use so many different aspects. But because we do not want to humble ourselves privately, God is like, hey, God, he loves jokes. Like, he loves God. Hey, God plays jokes.
I think
God
he has to have a sense of humor.
A sense of humor, of course.
For sure.
And so
there's no way he doesn't.
No, definitely. And so it's like, all right, I'm going to have to teach you a lesson publicly. That with pride, it leads to nothing.
Yeah.
Humbleness will take you very far.
Yeah. And we can't take our pride with us.
No, you cannot take your pride with us. And I think that's another thing that I've sort of been working on. Not so much pride in terms of like I'm the best and I'm this, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But pride in terms of where I've like cultural, like what has been done. And I put it in my personal statement. It's actually it's called gratitude-driven pride. And essentially, it is just having pride, being grateful, and just having gratitude for everything that's been done for me. That's for good. What my parents have done, my family, my cousins, all just my whole community, what they've done for me. So it's not pride for anything I've done, because I have not done anything. Like, I have not done anything. But so much has been done for me that I can take pride in it. Yeah, you know what? Yes. I came from here. I'm here, and this is where I'm going. Yeah. And I have these people behind me, so I'm good. Yeah. Like, it's legit it's gratitude-driven pride. And
so that's good. It's like selflessness, like selfless pride, if that makes sense.
And it's not in a cocky manner. Yeah. Saying that, oh yeah, we come from this, come from that. No, we don't. We don't. But God's gotten us this far. And my parents, they've done so much. So like, yeah, I have pride. Yeah. Knowing where I came from.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
And I love it. I think pride is something that if you flip the meaning of it, or obviously you might get humbled publicly. Yeah. And then you understand what real pride is.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Then it's like you're on that high and you can only ride that high for so long. And then you get humbled. Yes. And then it takes you down to like where we need to be and where you should be.
So, okay, why do you think we'll be on for instance, the roller coaster, we've been on a roller coaster and we're going up so high and just like it feels so nice. But when you get to the very top, it's almost like you fall down again. Why do you think is because people in those positions have forgotten who got them there? Or forgotten that God has got, like, because God is the one that's gotten them there. Yeah. That's helped place them throughout this path to get there. So do you think it's because because of that, or did they miss something?
Yeah. I think it's not having that humbleness along the way. And I think when you do get to the top, there is that sort of sense of pride and thinking inward focused instead of outward focused, and thinking, I'm the one that got me here. I'm the one that worked so hard to get here. And while all those things might be true, at the end of the day, you're not pointing back to like who actually got you there, and like not even just God, but just like the people that got you there, and the opportunities that got you there, and the rooms that got you there, and just like not, when you start to think inward focused, I think that's when God humbles us into, we can only think outward focused and only think God focused.
I like that. That's a good one right there.
Yeah.
No, that's a good one right there. I like that a lot.
If I guess starting to wrap up, because we could talk all day, seriously. We could close down another coffee shop.
Facts,
up.
Literally.
We'll have to do like multiple episodes.
We should do that sometime.
We should go to a coffee shop and record and then shut down the coffee shop. But yeah, kind of like my last kind of final question is, what are you looking forward to in your 20s? Like, what are you looking forward to in this kind of, you're not in a transition period necessarily, but you're preparing for that, or you're about to enter that. So what are you kind of excited for and looking forward to in that?
I love that question. That is such a good question. And I am excited for obviously the next chapter, which is law school. But you know what? Law school is not even the next chapter. It's more so stepping into the role once I do get to that position of being a lawyer. Yeah. And law school is just a means to an end. Law school is not the end. Yeah. It's just a means to an end. And so I'm definitely excited for what is to come. But honestly, I'm more excited for my 20s to start building the proper habits. You know, like, I feel like I've built some habits already, but they definitely need fine tuning. They need a lot of fine tuning. Yeah. And so I'm really just excited to also like see my sisters eat. Yeah. I'm excited to be able to, because
you have 3 sisters, right?
Yeah, really 4, but
4. Okay.
But yes, I'm excited to see my sisters eat. I'm excited to see all my boys, all my guys eat, especially as we start, you know, getting into our careers, into the paths God has called us. Granted, it could change and everything. Everything can change.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because nothing is ever guaranteed or promised. Yes. But with God, we know that He'll take us to where He needs us to be. And so I'm really excited just for the good that will come. Yeah. And like, I'm knowing that, all right, like it is going to be a challenge, but God has called us to be kings and queens. And so this is a crucial time to start building so that whenever we do get there, that time is not squandered. Yeah. That's good. And so, yeah, I'm really just excited for, like, I'm excited to be able to start getting to the position to be able to give back to my parents. Yeah. And to provide for my sisters. Yeah. Before. And so, that's cool. Yeah, I'm really excited to be able to actually get in a position because, like I said, I haven't done anything. So I'm not I'm not able to give back to them for everything that they've done for me. Yeah. I'm not able to give back to GCU for what they done for me. To give back to the program. Like, I'm not there yet, but I trust that God is going to get me there. He's preparing me to get there. Yeah. So that when I do get there, I'm able to multiply and to be fruitful. Yeah. With everything He's given me. Yeah, that's good. And so yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Thank you. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Again, we'll have to do a few more of these because I feel like we could talk for hours and
talk about just like the truth and the word for hours too. So
if y'all couldn't tell, this is seriously the first time that we
have caught up in a while. So it probably would have been longer if my camera wouldn't have died.
Facts.
So
it really would.
But it's been so great to just catch up with you, and thank you for all the wisdom that you've just poured out. And yeah, I really appreciate it, and I appreciate our friendship, and just I'm excited for you in this next chapter and excited to watch you eat and crush it and do all the things that you want to do. So
thank you. As to you, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
This is going to be something special.
Oh,
it's already turned into something special, but it's where it's going, it'll be great.
Thank you.
And God's placed a great vision on your mind.
Thank you.
Continue to trust Him.
Yeah.
And believe.
For sure. Even when it's hard.
Even when it's hard. Don't give up.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for watching or listening. You can check out more content, and to stay updated on everything, make sure to follow the 20 Effect podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And I just want you to remember that no matter what you're going through, we're in this together. Bye, y'all.